Now, you know I told you all that I would be bringing you updates as I receive them on the Brett Favre, case with the Mississippi welfare scandal lawsuit. Now, this has been ongoing, and you know that there were 6 people that were charged. They've been convicted, and Brett Favre is still hanging on to that lie about he didn't know where the money was coming from. Now, look at that face. You see that face right there of Brett? That's he going through some mental and emotional uh, you know, burdens. You know what I'm saying? Because he's harboring that lie. But I'm going to tell you that, Brett, there is mental and emotional freedom in telling the truth. Now, your freedom might be taken from you, or you might get leniency. I don't know, Brett. But the truth will set you free, bro. Because as I, keep on talking about this 77 million Mississippi welfare scandal lawsuit against him, Brett Favre, he is not being truthful. He did take the money, and he knew where the money was coming from. Now, he can keep on saying he did not know and everything, but he knew. Because, see, you have to be very unaware and just lack common sense to not know where the money is coming from, especially money like that. And his attorneys, they need to encourage Brett to come clean and tell the truth. Because, see, he right now is a Hall Famer of lies. He's a Hall Famer of lies. That he has been inducted in the Hall of Fame for all his swift football plays, and being real good as a quarterback. But he's trying to act like he don't have no common sense over here. An educated man, but look, the truth is gonna set him free. Now, it might lead to less jail time or leniency, but at least he won't be carrying that burden around, that big lie that he's been telling, that big lie that he's been telling for a long time. Lying to the government makes it worse, right? And the longer you harbor that lie, the more likely you will be given a harsher punishment. Because he's not even trying to accept any accountability for his actions. Sure, he paid the little money back, but at the end of the day, he knew where that money was coming from. He even in text messages, he wanted to see if they could find out where the money was coming from before he got the money. And when they assured him that he was good to go, he took the money out of families' mouths that could use that money for different things to help them level up. And then that is federal and state tax money. Think of the state that helps carry Mississippi. He took money that didn't belong to him, not just the citizens of Mississippi, but then there were other states that carry Mississippi. That's federal and state tax money, and he deserves to be held accountable. He is not an exception to the rule, and that governor that helped him do it too, he ought to be held accountable too. See, I'm okay with when you have aspirations and you want to help your alma mater, and you want to help out. But he could have used his own money to do that. So, question, Brett, why didn't you use your own money to fund your aspirations for the University of Mississippi? See, no one gets a big fat check and not know where the funds are coming from. You know what I'm saying? So, he's one of the 38 defendants being sued by the Mississippi Department of Human Services, MDHS, after millions of dollars in welfare money were misused. And now his attorneys wants to file a motion on his behalf, or they filed a motion on his behalf in the Mississippi Judicial Court Monday to dismiss the complaint against him and Favre Enterprises. No, it does not need to be dismissed. So whoever the judge is that's handling this case, please don't dismiss it. Move forward with a case, with a trial, because he needs to be found guilty of stealing money. And I told you all I was not going to let up on this because this is wrong, wrong, wrong. And he knew where the money was coming from. And there's no reason to keep dragging this out. Let's just be clear on this. He needs that case should not be dismissed. His attorneys need to stop capping for him, and they need to just go ahead and encourage this man to tell the truth. And he might get, he might get probation or something. They might be lenient with him. They may fine him. But whatever the case is, he definitely needs to tell the truth and stop making up stories and harboring this lie. Because, see, when you carry a lie around, that's a burden upon you that needs to be released. And, see, we can release our burdens back to Christ, and so that he can take them on and we don't have to carry them. And there's freedom in that. But Brett, I don't know, man, what your faith is. I'm not trying to attack it. But, dude, moral values, characteristics, your character and your moral values, compass tells us a lot about you by stealing money. Now, It's apparent that the MDHS has sued Favre, a Mississippi and national celebrity, in an effort to deflect responsibility for its own egregious wrongdoings, his lawyers wrote. Now, this is what they saying. But you know what? He does have some egregious wrongdoing here, because he stole the money and he knew where it was coming from, and he should have never accepted that money. He should have used his own money. Now, MDHS filed a lawsuit in May alleging the defendant squandered more than $20 million from the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, which is the TANF program under the Department of Welfare there in Mississippi. It's an anti-poverty program, right? And it helps for like child care, and it was supposed to also go to like helping families learn how to level up. Maybe they can become small business owners. They can go to seminars and learn how to do things differently, so that they could you learn how to move up out of to the next social level, and financially. But that didn't happen because Brett helped himself, him and that governor, and they used Nancy New, if you haven't been following the videos on my channel, to take this money, and there was other people involved, and they've already, convicted John Davis, you know what I'm saying? And he's facing 32 years behind bars when he goes for sentencing next year. So at the end of the day, Brett, you and that governor really need to be held accountable. Dude, you just don't get to get off just because of the complexion, just because, you was a Hall of Famer. You don't get to get off. See, a good deed, you trying to say don't go unpunished, but you didn't do a good deed when you took the money. Now, if you had to put your own money in it and raise funds, respectfully, then we could respect you and say a good deed, doesn't go, a good deed goes unpunished, doesn't go unpunished, or whatever the statement is. But guess what? We cannot say that, Brett, because you took money that didn't belong to you and you knew about it. And then now you want to say, well, I was just trying to help my alma mater. No, bro, you should have used your own money. So in the state's largest ever public corruption case, it is alleged that $77 million in welfare funds flowing from MDHS to nonprofits were spent by affluent Mississippians instead of the most needy in America's poor state. Now, you can go back and look at my video, and I did a video on all of the people, the affluent Mississippians that got that money that shouldn't have got it. And one football player said he was not going to pay nothing back, but we'll see. I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? Because the government, when they want their money back, they'll give you time to pay it. They'll give you leniency. But at the end of the day, they want their money. And they're going to come after some folks. So I wouldn't be talking that big and bad, that one football player, that was up there. I'm not giving them nothing back and all that stuff. Well, we'll see on that. But anyway, 5 of the 6 people arrested in the case have pleaded guilty to state charges. Favre, a Pro Football Hall of Famer, does not currently face any criminal charge, but he should. See, I said that before, and I stand on that, right? He should face charges. Now, Brett Favre's involvement in uses of welfare funds. He's accused of receiving $1.1 million in welfare funds for speeches he allegedly never made, right? Involvement in the University of Southern Mississippi, receiving $5 million of the same money for a new gym. And then he went on and invested in a concussion drug company that also received welfare funds. And the thing is, there were some dogs that died. I believe 9 dogs in my last video that died because they used the dogs to test the drugs. Now, I'm surprised they haven't went after him for that, right? But Favre has paid back. He did pay back the $1.1 million in nonprofit Mississippi Communication Education Center speaking fees. He paid that back. However, the state is seeking $228,000. The amount is as determined he owes in interest. But it's not just that, though. He knew the money. See, this is the thing about it. It's the principle of it. He knew where the money was coming from, and he still took the money, trying to cover it up. Now, let me go ahead and read this because some people may not know the whole thing, but go back. I would encourage you to go back and listen to the other videos. Text messages revealed in September show Favre pushed state officials to secure funding for a new volleyball facility on his alma mater's campus while his daughter was on the team. While the volleyball facility was not mentioned in the civil lawsuit, the motion filed by Favre's lawyer said that it served as one of the false pretexts for MDHS to target Favre in this lawsuit. Well, you know what? No, they're not targeting him. Because if that's the case, then they target everybody else, because Nancy New was used by the governor, and he was the one telling her where to send the money. And it was through her nonprofit that she lost her nonprofits. And now she has to cooperate with the governor in order, the feds, in order to stay out of state prison. So didn't she get used too? So if that's the case, all those other people were targeted too as well, right? John Davis, all of them. But see, at the end of the day, Favre is a public official that played football. And you know how many people love football? How many people sat on their couch and cheered him on, who were fans of the team he played for and all of that. But at the end of the day, right is right and wrong is wrong. Brett, your behind truly needs to be charged. Now, and I'm not going to stop saying that. Favre gave a statement in October that mirrors his lawyer's Monday motion. No one ever told me. Now, listen how I'm going to read it how I think he's saying. No one ever told me, and I did not know that funds designated for welfare recipients were going to the university or me. I tried to help my alma mater, USM, a public Mississippi State University, raise funds for a wellness center. He wrote, I have been unjustly smeared in the media. This is a man that's trying to play the victim. He's trying to play the victim, you guys. A real man that is a Hall of Famer, that took all many hits when he got sacked. That's the quarterback. Threw a lot of football passes. Was a great quarterback. You know what I'm saying? A real man would say, you know what? I accept all responsibility and accountability for where the money came from. Let me pay it back. Let me face my punishment. And whatever that punishment is, I'm willing to accept responsibility and accountability for it. That's a real man, Brett Favre. But you're not being a real man. Shall I read it again in his little whiny, whimpery, victimized voice? See, nobody is getting ready to hold you as a victim and let you go into the victimhood. You know, there's a hood for victims that are real victims, and then there's false victims. Well, you trying to be in the false victimhood. Nobody's going to place you there, Brett, because you don't belong there. You don't belong, you know, in the hood of victims. The real victims, Brett, you don't belong there. You belong where you belong. Being charged for a crime that you committed. That's where you belong, Brett. You don't belong, you know, where there's real victims that are never going to get, you know, their justice. They're never going to, you know, they're not going to be recognized or noticed for things that have happened against them. And this is not to mock any victim. I'm just saying, but Brett's trying to move over. You know what I'm saying? No, Brett. You need to hold yourself accountable. Be the real man that you are, like you was on the football field, being a real man, throwing those football passes, throwing those touchdowns, getting sacked, getting back up, and still leading your team. Then you made it in the Hall of Fame, Brett. That's what you did. But at this point, you're a Hall of Famer of lies, Brett. And you know what? You need to be a real man. Because this not being no real man at all, Brett. Now, the state auditor, Shad White. Now, you all remember Shad White. He was the one that, you know, was the auditor. And then he came out and he first said that Phil Bryant was the whistleblower. No, he wasn't. He covered it up, too. He used Nancy New to cut those checks, okay? Now, he spoke about the interest Favre is being held accountable for. And every party in the civil case is free to make the arguments that they would like to make. And I'm not going to comment on them. Well, a good idea, Shad. Don't comment on them. Let the judge push that case. Hopefully it does not get dismissed. And let him make his argument, his attorneys make his on behalf of Brett in the court of law, and he needs to go to trial. Anyway, the court system can see the case through, and the judge can determine who owes what. White told the AP Monday. I think that Brett needs to be charged. I'm not going to, you know, give up on that. I'm going to keep on bringing these stories to you, especially updates on this. So you guys leave your comments below. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless you all on today. And, you know, thank you again. Don't forget to like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, StandupBcounted, and don't forget to check out my jewelry, OitsSharine Jewelry. Thank you all again. Have a blessed day.